beautiful day in Virginia, 58 degrees, clear and sunny. I hope you'll join me for a relic hunt in Old Cold Harbor on the Civil War battlefield. I got into this particular spot where we're going today a few days ago, but I don't have any video footage of the hunt. I will show you the buttons I found. Found a pretty nice eagle button. And then I found an eagle button that was crumbling, just a little tiny bit of the face of it was left. Found a New York coat button. And then I found a Massachusetts cuff button. The face of it's worn so bad you really can't tell what it looked like. This is what it would have looked like when it was new. This is a battlefield found Massachusetts coat button. And then I found a surprisingly pretty New York cuff button. Usually the ones that come out of the field are pretty corroded because of chemicals and stuff like that. Anyway, we're going to go back to that spot today. Join me for the hunt. Virginia battlefield. This is the Battlefield Walker. We're at a different spot today. I know these woods and this farm have given up a lot of good Civil War relics in the past. Every time I come to a place like this, I'm just in awe that I'm walking in the footsteps of Civil War soldiers. And every time I dig even just a bullet, I think about the last guy that touched this. I'm excited to see what we find today, and I'm glad that you're going to be with us here in this beautiful part of Cold Harbor, Virginia. Let's get to it. You can see how dusty it is out here today. Man, it's dry out here. Piece of aluminum wire. You have to dig a whole lot of holes to get to the good stuff. We got a good signal in the bottom of this hole. All right, check this out. Nobody but you and me has laid eyes on this in nearly 160 years. There you go. First bullet of the day, Union mini ball. Unfired. This is a great example of why you should always check your holes. Before I covered this hole up, I went over it with my machine again, and there's another signal in the hole. So it could be a soldier dropped 2 bullets. So I think we got another bullet in the hole, same hole we just dug. Let's see if we can find that telltale bit of white. Haha, that's bullet number 2 in the same hole. And again, a dropped 3-ringer. So that soldier dropped 2 in one place. Let's just see. I don't think we'd be this lucky, but let's see if he dropped 3. Oh, got another signal. Let's see if the old boy dropped 3. Yep, I see him. See that white? Right there. There it is. Number 3. 3 bullets in one hole, and that's my first signal of the day. Wow, that's so cool to find 3 bullets in that hole. Got a target that sounds pretty good here. I'm not at all sure about this. No, that still sounds really good. Nope, doesn't sound good now. I think I'm wasting my time on this hole, but I'm going to try a little bit deeper. You can start a hole and it sounds really good. And then as you dig, it doesn't sound so good anymore. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is why you should always wear gloves. Yeah, that would hurt if you ran your hand down that. Okay, this one's confusing me a little. It sounds like brass or lead, but the numbers are reading too high. And that's, I see iron. Yep, they're not all good targets. If they were all good relics, we'd call it relic finding instead of relic hunting. This one sounds a little bit better. Yeah, that looks like a bullet to me. What do you think? Right there. Yep. That is a 58 caliber Union 3-ring bullet. Remember, when you're relic hunting, the landowner is the key to everything. And you have to treat his land with respect. And that means covering up your holes. Well, this is something I don't often find, but that's an earring. I don't think many Civil War soldiers had pierced ears. Well, I probably shouldn't be guessing, but this sounds like a button to me. I don't think it's a bullet. Hello. Hello. Look what I see. I can't tell yet what that is, but it's green. Come on, baby. Yeah, it's got a shank on it. All right. I know you can see the shank now. Right there. And it is not just a back, it's a complete button, but I can't tell what kind of button yet. Yeah, that's a General Service Eagle button. I'm not going to fool with that anymore till I get it home, clean it up. I carry this pill bottle for delicate things like military buttons. So we'll plop it in there so we don't lose it. I'm only 5 feet away from where I dug that button, so I want you to hear what I'm listening for. You can almost hear two little tones, almost a warble. I'm going to go with a bullet on this one since I got the last one right. Yep. 69 caliber round ball. 69 calibers were leftover muskets from the War of 1812 or even the Revolutionary War. They were commonly carried by Confederates, but sometimes a Northern soldier would have one. We went deep on this one. It sounds, I don't know, it's iffy. So I'm guessing this is iron. That might not be iron. Oh yeah. Yep. There you go, another round ball. Another 69 caliber round ball. All right, this is cool because can you see those 3 dots? 1, 2, 3. Well, this was what was called a bucking ball load. This load was wrapped with paper so it wouldn't fall apart, but this is called a buck and a ball. You had 1 buck there, 1 buck there, and 1 buck there. So that's what those 3 little dimples are. And when you fired this bullet with the 3 bucks on it, and this went out toward the enemy, you doubled your chances. Actually, you quadrupled your chances of hitting somebody, because you had the main ball, which you were aiming, but if you missed him with this one, you might clip him with one of these. So that's called a bucking ball load. But if I had to guess, I would say this is a 3-ringer or a carbine bullet, but not a round ball and not a button. Still in there. I think that popped it out. Yep. Look at that. Called it right. That's a 3-ringer. That's a wormed 3-ringer, which is the same thing as a pulled 3-ringer. I'd say that's probably a worm mark. I'm just about 8 feet away from where I dug that last 3-ringer, and I'm getting a real good signal here. Oh, came out of there. There it is. Another 3-ring mini ball. Hey, here's another pulled bullet. When a muzzle-loading rifle or musket was loaded, it was impossible to unload the gun without attaching something to the end of the ramrod with which they could grab the bullet and pull it out. This was pulled out with what's called a bullet worm or a cleaning jag, and it looked like this. This one is battlefield found, and it looks kind of like a corkscrew. And what they would do is attach this to the end of the ramrod, and then the worm was twisted onto the bullet like this and then pulled out. But this is what relic hunters mean when they talk about a bullet has been wormed. Now, sometimes they used a different tool to remove a bullet from the gun. This is a bullet extractor. Again, it was screwed onto the end of the ramrod, and they would take this on the end of their ramrod, shove it down into the gun, and screw it into the bullet, and then they could extract the bullet. They could pull it out. But the same kind of cleaning jag was used to pull this bullet out. Now, apparently, he didn't have enough success, because you can also see that he used this kind of jag, screwed down into the cone of the bullet, and then pulled out to extract the bullet. So that's what we mean when we find a bullet and we say, oh, this has been extracted or wormed or pulled. I've got about 40 more minutes to hunt, so maybe we can pull up one more button. Let's see where it is. Oh, close. Uh-oh. Hello. Hello. What do we got? Ah, look at that. That's a button back, but I'm sure the front is missing. Yeah. All right, got kind of a deep one here. Don't see anything yet. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. Doggone it. That's a button that I just broke open, and it's probably a New York. I can see the bottom, and I can fix that, but I wish I hadn't have broken it. Doggone it. So there's your shank on the button. There's the inside of the button that tells me I just broke it open. No dirt's ever touched that. Now I'm going to show you something interesting. That's the piece of paper. Look at that. That's a 170-year-old paper. I can still bend it. That went between the back and the front. Now here's the front. Yeah, that's a New York State coat-sized button. There's the front, there's the back, there's the paper that went between. That's crazy that it's all there. But I can fix that, and I will. Nope, must be deep. All right. Let's go deep. Oh, I feel you. You're a bullet. All right, there's a round ball. Another 69 caliber. So it wasn't a bad day here at Cold Harbor. Came up with 2 decent buttons and a button back. And I don't know how many bullets. Probably close to a dozen. I'm out. I'm done for the day. I'm the Battlefield Walker. Stay tuned for some interesting old relics found back in the 1950s and 60s. In the first episode of the Battlefield Walker, we took you back to 1968 and showed you a relic found. It's pretty unusual. It was an artillery shell fragment found in wood. Today's segment of looking back into the past and the relics found in the early days of Civil War relic hunting, I'm going to show you some things that weren't that unusual back then, but are quite rare to find today. This is a insert, a tin insert that went into leather cartridge boxes during the Civil War. It helped the leather to retain its shape, and this is where the soldier would carry his cartridges, his bullets and powder. These things are made of tin. They're no thicker than a tin can. And so to find them today in the 2020s is so rare and unusual because they're just disintegrating into the ground. This is a small version. I also have a larger version of a cartridge box insert that was also found in Cold Harbor back in those days. I have an interesting piece here that I want to show you. This is just a sardine can. If you were to see it today on the battlefield, I'm sure you wouldn't think a thing of it. But my dad dug this sardine can in a trench. And when he looked at it, he saw that it wasn't opened with a key or a pull tab. It was obviously crudely cut and peeled back with a knife. Upon closer examination, he found a brass label on the front of the can. Now, the brass label is written in French, but one of the words is sardines. It has several dates on it, and I'm assuming these are dates of the establishment of the company. One's 1834, one's 1851. And it's common knowledge that sutlers of the time that followed the troops around would sometimes have quality food items, sometimes imported. So this is most certainly a sutler's tin of sardines sold to some Civil War soldier. Another great example of that kind of thing is this beauty. This is a battlefield found canteen. It's not the bullseye type, it's a smooth-sided type of canteen. But these also were made of very thin 10. This one is complete with the 3 loops that a strap would have gone through to carry the canteen. It's complete with the pewter throat and neck, and this neck is marked. But things like this are just so hard to find today that haven't disintegrated into many pieces. And so these are some cherished relics of mine that were found by my dad in the 50s and 60s in Cold Harbor. I want to thank those of you who have subscribed to the channel or maybe liked the first video. If you haven't yet, I hope you will subscribe. I look forward to taking you on the next relic hunting adventure somewhere on the battlefields of Virginia. Until then, I'm the Battlefield Walker. Be good and say your prayers.